Xatu from Paradox Rift has an incredibly good ability, but no one has quite found the perfect partner for it yet. Its ability Clairvoyant Sense lets you attach a basic psychic energy from your hand to one of your bench Pokemon, and then when you do, you can draw 2 cards. And there are a lot of awesome Pokemon that could take advantage of this ability, but I think the best one is actually Mewtwo v Union. This deck plays a bunch of new cards from Paradox Rift, and it's super fun, super strong, and it actually got around like top 64 at Brisbane Regionals. What is going on, everybody? Hitmonchan here, back again with another Pokemon trading card game online deck tech. Today, we are playing Xatu and Mewtwo v Union together in a deck that is super cool, super fun, pretty strong, and I've really been enjoying it. But before we get into the list, I want to say thank you to the sponsor of the channel, PTCGO Store. If you need codes, you know where to go. Head on over to PTCGOstore.com and use code HITMON to get 5% off your order. You get a good product for a good price, and you help out the channel as well. So thanks again to the sponsor for supporting the channel, and thanks to you for supporting me as well. And now, we're going to talk about this Xatu Box Deck. It's not really a box, it's more like Xatu, Snorlax from Lost Origin, and Mewtwo v Union. So we're going to just kind of go through things here. We're running a 4-4 line of Xatu, Clairvoyant Sense, I already explained that ability. And basically we're using Xatu to power up a couple different attackers, and you know, at the end of the game we just go with Mewtwo v Union and do a bunch of spread damage to KO a bunch of things, or we just do a super size explosion or whatever, or a final burn I mean, and then just do 300 damage to the active. So that's kind of the goal of the deck. Pretty simple, but it's a lot of fun. 4-4 line of Xatu, and we are playing 3 of the Snorlax from Lost Origin as our like main attacker throughout the game. Thumping Snore does 180 for 3 energy, and then you flip 2 coins during Pokemon checkup. If either of them is tails, the Pokemon remains asleep. We're also playing 2 copies of Bombirdier EX in this deck. Now, I know what you're thinking, I've probably never seen this card before in my life. It did come out in Paradox Rift, and it's got that fast carrier attack, which says you can use it even if you go first, and you just search your deck for 3 basic Pokemon and put them right onto your bench. Now, I love this card. I love this card ever since it was revealed, because this is a really strong attack, but nothing can really take full advantage of Bombirdier and its, you know, ability shadow, like its attack shadowy wind to put itself back into the deck. But this deck can. We actually use Bombirdier as an attacker, which is especially strong against decks like Lost Box or even like Giratina, whatever, because you can hit them with shadowy wind and then, you know, put it back into your hand. You can promote a Snorlax, and it has the Unfazed Fat ability, which means it can't be affected by Sableye. And if you have Jirachi in play, which stops Sableye from going to any other Pokemon, they can't attack you with a single prize, or then that might force them to bring up a Giratina V-Star and waste a ton of resources on Snorlax, because they also have to hit it with Lost Impact or Shred. And then you can go up with your Mewtwo v Union after, which has the final burn attack, which lets you do 300 damage to your opponent's active Pokemon, or Psysplosion, which lets you put 16 damage counters on any of your opponent's Pokemon. So that's basically the list. We're also playing a Manaphy in here to stop our pesky Radiant Greninja plays. In terms of the trainers, we're rocking 4 Ultra Ball, 4 Fog Crystal, 3 Nest Ball. I'm gonna come right out the gate. You could substitute a Bombirdier EX for a Nest Ball. I found myself wanting that in some cases, so it's possible. We also are playing an Escape Rope. Same thing here. You could substitute the Rope for Switch. Either or kind of works. In terms of our supporters, we've got 4 Research, 2 Boss, we have 2 Zinnia's Resolve in case we want to selectively discard some cards from our hand and draw, as well as 2 Iono. We have 1 Klara to recover some Pokemon and energy, and 1 Peonia, which will let us find some of our Mewtwo v Union pieces in the prizes. Now, we're also playing 2 Superior Energy Retrievals in here, so we can get back a bunch of energies to accelerate with Xatu, and then we'll play in 1 Super Rod to recover Pokemon as well. And then the last card in the deck is 1 copy of Counter Catcher, which is really strong because this deck does tend to fall behind a little bit. We don't play VIP Pass, and honestly, I've tried with VIP Pass, and it kind of just makes the deck feel worse. I think Bombirdier is actually the way to go, which is never something I thought I would be saying. But you can Counter Catcher later in the game, stall something and Psysplosion around it, or bring up a big support Pokemon, like if you're versing Charizard, for example, bring up their Pidgeot EX and just explode it with Final Burn at the end of the game for your last 2 prizes. So that is kind of how this works, and we are playing in 9 copies of Switch and 4 copies of Jet Energy, which is how this deck kind of really comes together, because Xatu can only attach to the bench. You do 2 Clairvoyant Senses to the Snorlax, and then you attach Jet Energy for turn, and it brings it right up. No need for a pivot, no need for a bunch of switching cards. That's just, you know, that's just how it goes, and I think it works pretty well. So I'm not going to keep you in suspense any longer. We're going to hop into some games and get some dubs with Xatu and Mewtwo v Union. We get to a coin flip. Tails never fails is what I always say. And honestly, at this point, I'm kind of undecided if you want to go first or second with this deck. I'm leaning towards going first because you can use Bombardier on the first turn. However, going second, just getting access to a supporter and all that kind of stuff is very, very useful. So this would have been a pretty good hand because we would have had Bombardier access in hand. We could have just been able to Nest Ball, Jet Energy, bring it up, and then boom, off to the races, right? And it would have been good for the turn after because we could research the rest away, but that's okay. Looks like we might be playing against a Charizard deck, judging by the sleeves. Never know for sure. And here, this is like, okay, this is actually a fine hand because we are able to get a couple of different Natus down. And then from there, you know, we can just continuously charge up some Pokemon. It's actually a Roaring Moon deck, which is interesting. So, okay, we get research. This is how I want to play this. I'm going to start with Fog Crystal. I'm going to grab Natu. We prized 2 Psychics so far, as well as one of our V-Union pieces, which isn't great. We also prized ourselves a Iono. What's it called? We prized an Ultra Ball or a Nest Ball. No, we did not. Present a Superior Energy Retrieval and a Jet Energy. So, a couple of pretty tough prizing. But that's okay. I want a Nest Ball here. I don't want to put Bombirdier into play just yet. I think I want to just grab another Natu. And I'm debating if I should get rid of this Mewtwo V-Union piece. And I think I should, just so I can thin the deck a little bit more. I probably want to grab another Snorlax, right? I'm going to grab another Snorlax and actually attach to it. Because then that way, we can start using our Natus on this Snorlax and then Jet Energy it up after. We got a big research that we can use next turn. So this is a really solid start for us. The game plan against Roaring Moon isn't actually too tough. As long as we can selectively boss around them. I mean, in this case, because I put the Future Booster, or the Ancient Booster Energy Capsule on it, we can, you know, we're going to 2-hit it anyway, so that'll be fine. Also really good against this kind of deck because we can 2-hit, like, one-shot Squawkabilly with our Snorlax, which is really, really good. Another reason why I think Snorlax is a great attacker for, like, a Xatu Box style deck is because you can knock out Squawkabilly, Lumineon, any kind of like low HP basic Pokemon EX or Pokemon V that is a support Pokemon, you can knock it out very easily with Snorlax because you're always going to be doing 180. And then you can use your Mewtwo V-Union for the bigger threats. Now they opted to get a Bidoof here, which is a little bit interesting. I have been seeing some Roaring Moon lists play Bidoof, and they're going to get a Town Store here as well. Just discard a bunch of cards. Okay, so then went for the Squawk and Seas. Curious to see what else they're going to have happen here. They do have their VIP pass. Alternatively, they could just motivate with the Squawkabilly and start charging the Roaring Moon, which is possible, but I doubt they want to leave a Squawkabilly in the active for us to just attack with Snorlax, right? Now, I don't know if this version is playing the Water Energies and the Energy Switch to use with Radiant Greninja. That would be really bad here. However, judging by their start, I don't see them getting it. And plus, because they were playing Bidoof as well. If they weren't playing Bidoof, I could maybe, you know, be a little more scared. We'll see what they get off the Earthen Vessel here. It's 2 Dark Energy, so I doubt that they are playing the Water Energies plus Greninja combo. But they are getting a pretty solid setup going here. And they're just going to motivate. Okay, so that's a really good position for us. They're going to start charging that Roaring Moon. And we can hopefully take 2 prizes this turn on the Squawkabilly. So I want to just go for a big Professor's Research. And, oh man, that was like a terrible, terrible finding here. Ooh. Okay, so we'll go for another Fog Crystal. We'll just grab another Natu. And, because we have 4 Xatu's access to them. That's okay, though. Like, we'll attach here, right? We don't have anything to get with Town Store. I'll just use it, shuffle up the deck really quick. We really need to find a Jet Energy there. But that's okay. Because if they, for some reason, have Greninja, they take 2 Natus out, we just go up with a Snorlax, and boom. Right? We're okay. We also have Boss in our hand to be able to boss up the Squawkabilly, unless they somehow are able to just discard with like Collapse Stadium or something, which I doubt they are going to be playing in Roaring Moon. Another great thing is Unfazed Fat is a really good ability for like certain decks because, you know, it prevents all effects of attacks, which means they have to be using their, what's it called? When do we play Roaring Moon? They have to be using Calamity Storm to take us out and discard their Stadium, so they could eventually run out of resources. Mewtwo V-Union's ability as well prevents effects of attacks, so Roaring Moon would have to discard a Stadium in play. So if we could just force them to keep taking 1 prize, and they run out of resources at some point, then Bob might be our uncle, you know? Like, we could just run them out of stadiums, and eventually they're going to have to use Frenzied Gouging, which is not good. There is a Professor Sada coming up from them, so they're getting their other Roaring Moons prepped and ready to go. I hope they can't find a boss here, which is good. If they found a boss and knocked out this Snorlax, I would not be a fan of that, personally. And then they went for a Town Store to grab their Booster Energy Capsule. So yeah, like, that really doesn't make a huge difference against us, because we are literally, like, all we want to do is continuously attack this Roaring Moon. We're still two-shotting it either way, so it's not really a big deal. Something to note about this deck is we actually do not play any stadiums. The reason is we kind of don't have room, but also most stadiums aren't actually going to affect us. The only one that could be a bit of a challenge is Path to the Peak in Giratina, because it turns off our Mewtwo Union's ability, and then they can just start Requiem it, which is really not good. But other than that, most decks, we are not really going to care for what stadium they have in play. It's more like it just helps them more than it helps us. But like in decks like Gardevoir, for example, they're playing Artisan. Artisan helps us anyways. Collapse Stadium can help us get rid of a Bombirdier we weren't able to Shadowy Wind back into the hand. You know, there's a lot of different reasons and a lot of different ways for these, you know, for our opponent's stadiums to help us. So we don't really mind not playing a stadium. Then we have a Nest Ball here, which I'm just going to grab another Snorlax, just thin out the deck as much as possible here. And I could go for a boss on the Squawk ability, which I kind of think I want to do, but then like our next turn is going to be really crucial. So I'm going to go for the boss, and my main reasoning is because, one, I want to be able to grab the V-Union piece out of the prizes if we can. And we got the V-Union piece. What I didn't want to grab was the Jet Energy, because they're obviously going to knock out the Snorlax. Oh, maybe we'll be fine then. I was going to say, they're knocking out the Snorlax, and we need to be able to bring our other Snorlax up. However, we did wake up, so if they choose to not knock us out for whatever reason, we can just smack them again with Thumping Snore. And that'll be good. So now, like I was saying, they have to find a stadium here. They absolutely need to find a stadium, or else they're not able to kind of play the game. Now, that's truly the best part about this, is because, you know, most decks are only going to be playing 4 stadiums. They're down 1 stadium here. They need to find another one, or else they can't knock out the Snorlax, right? Which is really, really strong. Here comes another Nest Ball. They're going to be grabbing something else here, or nothing at all. They've already churned through a lot of their deck, and it seems and feels like their resources are pretty strained. Here's another Town Store that they can use, so they're going to be able to take a knockout on our Snorlax, which makes things a little bit more challenging for us. However, that is completely fine. We are kind of just poking at them, waiting until we can get Mewtwo V-Union into play here. We already got 1 V-Union in the discard pile. They're going to Calamity Storm. Go ahead. Take out the Snorlax. That is A-okay with me. So, at this point, we are just going to go for a big research, and we want to be able to bring that Snorlax up and just punch Roaring Moon. That's our game plan, right? Right now, that is our game plan. And we top deck another Jet Energy, which I am not a fan of, because we do have to discard it with our research here. We're going to be, like, really struggling this turn, I think. We can go for a Fog Crystal, get another energy out. Yeah, this is going to be a bit of a challenge. I can get rid of Peonia, and I think Ultra Ball is fine. I just want to grab this Xatu. Like, this is going to be we need to really, really, like, be able to continuously accelerate energies here. We got the Xatu. We can go for the Superior Energy Retrieval. A bunch of energies. We literally need to draw into another Xatu here. That's what we need to do in order to pull off an attack this turn. Hopefully we can. We do draw into the Xatu. Okay, that's really good. So we can get that going at least. However, I'm debating if I want to play a Rope here. I don't know if I do want to, but maybe it's best for us to still take a prize. I mean, we're still going to have to take out 2 Roaring Moons regardless. So I don't know if I quite want to play a Rope. So I just want to go for a Xatu. Once more, draw some more cards. We drew, like, see, we're drawing so much. And then I'll just retreat this Natu into the Snorlax here. And we are going to punch it with Thumping Snore. Would have been great for us to find Klara. Klara is the key piece that I want to get right now. because I want to be able to recycle these Snorlaxes. They're going to take out the Snorlaxes to find another stadium, and then we are going to be relying on something else to do our attacking. Worst case scenario, obviously, we can attack with one of the Xatus into this Roaring Moon, and then just clean up after with our Mewtwo V Union. We can do like Mewtwo V Union, Psy-Splosion will be just, I think, what are we going to be putting? 3 damage counters on Roaring Moon, which means we can put 12 on a Barrel or 13 on a Radiant Greninja and take a bunch of prizes that way. So basically, we're only aiming to take one more knockout here, and we might just be chilling because we just go up with the V Union and boom, final burn the other Roaring Moon. So it depends what they do here. They might switch, you know, they might retreat. They are down 2 Sada, they're down a Dark Patch, so they have a lot of ways to recover that energy, which is good for them, obviously. Not great for us, but there's the Dark Patch, and they're going to be attaching to that Roaring Moon, and they're going to most likely retreat that Roaring Moon in the active, which again is fine because we can just target it down later. Yeah, but a really good card to have right here would be like either probably Klara. Klara would be the best one that we could get, because, you know, I don't want, like, I really do want to be able to take a prize card. We got to keep up in the trade here, or else we're kind of just screwed, because our Mewtwo V Union, you know, can get one-shot by them pretty easily. However, they got to find their stadium still, right? They're 2 down. They have 2 left in the deck. They cannot take a KO. They're going to go for a boss's orders on the Xatu. That's perfect. They have a switch, that's fine. I actually don't mind them KOing the Xatu because we don't have another Snorlax, right? So all I need to do now, I don't even know if they played a Sada. I don't think they did. Or no, they played the boss. What am I saying? Okay, so no hand disruption. We can go up with Snorlax, just boss up that other, what's it called? The other Roaring Moon on the bench, and boom, we're going to be able to take it out. Now, they might be running low, you know, it's hard for them to find stadiums, right? So that's why I'm actually kind of content with this outcome here. It gives us another turn to continuously accelerate our energy. We get Jirachi, which isn't necessarily needed, but I do want to start with the Clairvoyant Sense on this Natu here, and I want to draw some cards. We got Iono, which is good, Jet Energy is fine. I think I just do want to boss this guy up. And from here, I want to keep using Clairvoyant Sense. I need to find a way to recover some Snorlax. I don't find it. I find Zinnia, which isn't necessarily what I need, but we can go for a Thumping Snore right here. Take out this Roaring Moon, and then we are going to draw 2 prizes. And now we literally just need to put V Union into play. There's our Klara, there's our Superior Energy Retrieval, so that's what we were missing all this time. We found those. Now we are back in business. All we need to do is we just gotta find a way to get our V Union up and running, and then we are good to go. And even still, all we need to do, we need to punch a Roaring Moon, and then if we can get our V Union down within like 2 turns, then we're fine, because we just Psy-Splosion the rest onto it, and there's nothing they can do. Another boss's orders on Xatu. They do not have a way to KO the Snorlax right now. They just can't do it. So they're gonna keep targeting our Xatus, which is completely fine, because we can put another Xatu into play here. And, you know, thanks to Klara, right? That's what I meant to say. We can bring it back with Klara, put it into play. We don't really need 2 more Snorlaxes. We just need 1 more. And then we are going to be chilling. They're going to recycle a Roaring Moon. And now... yeah, like, all we got to do is just punch it. I hope they're not playing anything wacky like Turo, because that will kind of throw our game plan off a little bit if they're playing a Professor Turo. But... honestly, this is fine. I'm not really worried about this this situation here, this Manaphy. So I think I want to start with the Klara, and I do want to grab a Xatu, Snorlax, and 2 energy. I think that's completely acceptable, because I'll bench the Snorlax, we'll put the Xatu down, so we can start powering up this other Snorlax here. And I actually do want to retreat the Xatu, because then I can SER that energy back afterwards. Like I said, I really do want to find the V Union piece here, and we still don't find it, which is kind of tragic. We would like to find that one Mewtwo V Union. We also could have found Ultra Ball, which would have helped us, finish out the game there. But now I think all we need to do, I don't even know if I want to attach return. I could attach a Jet Energy, but honestly, yeah, I think I'll go for the Jet. No, never mind, I lied. I'm gonna retreat this guy, and we're gonna go into the Snorlax here. I don't necessarily want to... Like, the only thing is, if they take out another Xatu here, that could be a challenge. If they go for... But they play 2 boss, they're down a PAL pad, I doubt they have a third, right? So, maybe... Yeah, no, this is fine. We're just gonna thumping Snore, that's it, okay? If they have, like, a rope, which is possible, I just give them the other Snorlax. That way we don't waste our other energies. Then hopefully I can get the V-Union into play. I actually should be able to, because we're going to go down to 5 cards left in the deck, and then I can Zinnia plus Superior Energy Retrieval the rest of the energy. And then I should be fine. Yeah, because like I only need 1 target there. They have a Jet Energy, they're going to attack the other Roaring Moon. That's completely okay. We can just go for a final burn. There's a Collapse Stadium, which could have been devastating for us. And the Iono, it sucks as well, I won't lie. Because we need to find more now. But we did find Zinnia, so we can get a bunch of our, we can get a bunch of our resources back. Counter Catcher we have as well. We could Counter Catcher something up. Maybe the Big Barrel we could try and bring into the active spot. And then just Psysplosion onto the bench. I might be a fan of that plan. They're down a switch. They got 4 cards in hand though, like, and I want to be drawn with Zinnia unless I top deck a Research or something. I don't necessarily want to be wasting this Counter Catcher. So hopefully we just draw into the V-Union, and then we can Zinnia it away and hopefully just find our other resources from there. We find Super Rod, which is not really needed. We got to Zinnia these 2 away, draw a bunch of cards, and I think we actually find what we need to have game here. Let me just make sure, because we need to Ultra Ball the Mewtwo V-Union away. Oh, it's going to be really tight because we don't have access to a lot of cards. I need to Ultra Ball that V-Union away, and I need to go for a Psysplosion. So, I can get rid of the V-Union and the Fog Crystal, get another Pokemon. This is, I think we're actually 1 card off of closing out this game here. That's so tragic. Okay, we could draw into the Jet Energy though. Okay, we could draw into the Jet Energy, which is good. In that case, we would be able to win. So it all depends if we draw into Jet Energy, which we should be able to do because we need to SER here, and we need to get the Snorlax out of the active spot. I could have led with the Xatu, but I was being a little silly guy. So we need to just draw into Jet Energy, and we have game here. We draw into Jet Energy, thankfully. I was so worried we were just going to whiff that, but we were able to pull it out in the end. We drew into our Jet Energy, and boom, we can Jet Energy, bring up our Mewtwo V-Union. All we got to do is hit him with a massive, massive, massive Psysplosion here, and we just got to put all these damage counters on this Roaring Moon. We have 2 prizes left. That's all we need to take. Boom. All that damage on Roaring Moon. It gets knocked out, and we get to take the last 2 prizes of the game. It was down to the wire, but that's just how this deck operates. And we got the dub with Xatu Mewtwo V-Union. So what do you think of my Xatu Mewtwo V-Union deck? This deck is insanely fun to play, and I think it is actually pretty strong right now. Now, it does have a couple of times where you just, like, draw 4 energy, like a Jirachi and a Super Rod, and it's like, there's nothing you can do about those scenarios, but every deck has that, which is why I do like to maximize this deck based on consistency, hence the 2 Bombirdier, obviously 4 Jet Energy. I think Bombirdier is the way to go over something like VIP Pass or like a setup supporter. And the reason is because it allows you to actually have an attacker on the field as well. So if you're not able to find Snorlax, you can still punch with Shadowy Wind and take the Bombirdier off the field. So you are getting damage value there. Plus, it's really good into certain matchups because Shadowy Wind is 130, Thumping Snort is 180. Together, that's 310 HP, which is the magic number for like new VMAX, for Gardevoir, and it's just really a really good 2-shot number to be hitting. So it also can set things up for Mewtwo V-Union to come through at the end of the game. There's a lot of reasons why I think that Bombirdier is really valuable in this deck. The only change I could potentially make is adding 1 more Nest Ball instead of 1 Bombirdier, because I do play 2. And I do like to be able to loop the Bombardiers with each other. I think that that's pretty strong against decks that like can't really deal with a Snorlax in the active. Like Lost Box is really challenging for them to deal with that. And just forcing your opponent to continuously take 1 prize is really good, because then you can just bring Bombirdier down, do another punch, and then scoop it back up, right? So yeah, I'm in love with this deck. I think this deck is a lot of fun, and I want to say thank you all so much for watching. Like the video if you enjoyed, and comment down below what do you think of Xatu V Union with Snorlax. It is super, super cool, and I want to know your thoughts on it. I'm thinking of building this in real life and seeing if I can take it to a win at a local league. So we're gonna see if that's a little fun project that I do. But as always, thank you so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel because I'm posting multiple Pokemon trading card game videos every single week. And until next time, Hitmonchanting out.